So this is what you have. Right now we have more or less the same cross-section, right? This is the same thing that we're looking at. So look at just how, in some sense, primitive your version is. By primitive, I'm not saying about your skill. I'm saying about in terms of the kind of the shapes. This is something that you would be, in some sense, learning, right? Kind of doing this exercise. Imagine body being a very simple shape. So in your case, it's almost a trapezius, right? With just some rounder corners like that. And obviously there's this shape in here, which is good, but look at just how much variety is in the actual body. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the body is the abdomen. I hope by kind of talking about everything that we've done here, you can spot yourself what the issue is there. And you can fix it on your own. The thing that I wanted to mention though is it's just the shape, I guess, the depth of the body, the kind of construction of the body that you have. So what I see is somewhat this, right? So this is kind of the cross-section. This is the profile, right? So actually we can do the cross-section. Let me try and see if it's going to be useful or not. Okay, so they are somewhat correlating, right? More or less the sections of the body. They're not perfect, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It just for the sake of illustration, it's going to be useful. So, I mean, use all the tools you can imagine, right, to do all this kind of crazy analysis. I think this is crucial because if you're going to kind of learn, I guess, traditionally, and I'm probably making this up because I haven't studied traditionally, but this is something that I came across. You would kind of get this, not exercise, but almost exercise of imagining the body in kind of primitive shapes, right? So the body is, the torso is being almost like a barrel, right? The arms are being kind of cylinders, etc. Right? But because we have scan data now, we can do a much more precise and accurate analysis of actually what the body, the shape of the body looks like, because this is not a barrel. I mean, this is kind of barrel-ish, right? At the very least, this kind of cylindrical, and then you have those muscles, the side muscles being kind of attached to that. So in some sense, yeah, it is a barrel, but let's not forget that this whole mass is also very important. But, and so like I said, this is kind of what I get to do if I want to do the analysis of the depth of the body, what the actual shape of the body looks like. And so if we compare that to what you have, you can see, well, actually I need to do this better because I've captured some of the pecs and this is going to be confusing. So this is what you have. Right now we have more or less the same cross-section, right? This is the same thing that we're looking at. So look at just how, in some sense, primitive your version is. By primitive, I'm not saying about your skill. I'm saying about in terms of the kind of the shapes. This is something that you would be, in some sense, learning, right? Kind of doing this exercise. Imagine body being a very simple shape. So in your case, it's almost a trapezius, right? With just some rounder corners like that. And obviously there's this shape in here, which is good, but look at just how much variety is in the actual body. First of all, well, not first of all, but let's just kind of compare. So in terms of width, everything is unique, right? The kind of the length of the not the length, but the depth, the width of the body is obviously unique. We don't need to go into that. But the problem here is that this length from here to here, it might be actually the same as the length from here to here, right? But what we, at least hopefully you can see, is that the feeling that we get from this version is that it's a little bit kind of excuse me, a little bit thinner, right? Or it's a little bit kind of, it's not even that it's wider, it's just that the shape, if I kind of simplify it, the shape is almost a like that, right? Obviously with some volumes in here, whereas your shape is almost the opposite, right? It's almost being going vertically, right? And so what you need to do is to, well, do something about it, right? It's not just kind of moving those things out, which would definitely help the shape, right? Kind of making it a little bit closer to that, but you need to think about what is happening here, why your shape is just the way it is, right? Maybe you need to move everything this way. Maybe you need to do the separation between the this muscle and the rib cage just a little bit, kind of like that, right? Maybe the back needs to be a little bit steeper, right? Like that. And then this is where the depth is going to be. And so once you kind of do that, once you analyze the model, you will see that it's just a little bit more flat in general, from the, at least from the from this view, right? This whole section is somewhat kind of flattish, whereas in your version it's very, very kind of trapezius looking, right? There's something that is definitely off in here. So if I'm going to simplify this again, what am my immediate kind of reaction to this is just to bring things inwards here, bring things outwards like that. Maybe make the separation between the body, the volume at the back like that. Here it's also starting to look a little bit kind of flattish again compared to, let's say, the body of the scan. So here we have almost like that, and then like that. Whereas here it's going like that, right? So it's depth. We're not talking about muscle structure when we're talking literally about depth, about how the body is being visualized before us, right? The very first thing that we're going to see, or I guess the very first thing that we're going to feel, which is again the most important thing, because the shadows are going to be doing that kind of work for us, right? It's creating depth, so something more interesting than just muscles. I guess not even more interesting, it's just something more crucial, much more fundamental, right?